Welcome in to Run Your Own Labs. My goal today is to have you understand to be what's going on with functional lab testing and to become a savvy customer. So it's just a short 30-minute long form video, but I think if you tune in, it's going to be really helpful to understand which labs you should run and which ones aren't worth it. Let's go. Okay, so just as typical as a reminder, information is shared for educational purposes only. Please consult with a licensed provider before acting on any of this content on today's webinar. And the quality and the quantity of my health and wellness coaching services are not dependent on any product purchase. And these are my sources today. And I'm going to invite you, if you're listening, to take a deep breath in. Uh, the average healthcare consult is now 6 or 7 minutes. Our world is speeding by. So let's take a minute and get on top of a mountain or lay down on the beach and invite you to take a breath in, just a single breath in, and just notice your body. And breathe out, and just one more breath in that gets all the way down to your diaphragm. You can put even a hand down there to your diaphragm to help you get that breath all the way down to the base of your belly. And out. And just imagine yourself on top of that mountain or on that beach or wherever that forest, wherever that feels super safe and comfortable. And I invite you, if you are watching, to grab your favorite beverage. I have a dandy coffee here, dandy blend, lots of nice, good chicory root and fiber. And I've got my hydrogen-rich water and ready to go. So this is my goal, is to champion all the notion that all of us don't need permission to be proactive with our health and clean up our terrain and or dump our toxic bucket. So today we're going to explore effective strategies for testing, and these are all backed by science and all the rage in the functional health circles. So I'm going to help turn you into a savvy customer today, like Ron from Parks and Recs, one of my favorite characters. And I believe functional nutritional therapy practitioners and functional nutritional counselors and board certified health and wellness coaches, we're here to fill the gap between patient and doctor. We do that through looking at lab work through functional ranges. We run specialty lab work. We support with natural supplements and lifestyle behavior change support. It is the best job in the world. So, like I mentioned, this is just a quick presentation, 30 minutes, and I'll answer any specific questions for people that pop onto the call. But at the end, let me know if, you know, if we get connected, like why are you excited about this functional testing and learning more? So we're going to get into which functional labs are worth it and which ones you can skip. The list is everyone that had registered for the webinar is going to get the list, which is everyone should consider running these labs before age 30. So if you haven't, um, consider running them and or having them reviewed by a functional provider with our ranges. I'm going to talk about a few blind spots in your annual wellness lab results. So if you have if you went in for a wellness check and you have a complete blood count with differential and or a lipid panel and or a complete metabolic panel, um, you might want to grab these and pull these up while I'm discussing a few that functional ranges. And then I'm going to present how you can order your own labs without insurance or provider approval. Um, this is where it gets exciting in the optimization of our health versus looking for pathology and disease. So you can, by the end of this training, you're going to understand this test and why Diana cried when she first saw her results, which are on the left there. You can see all the red that's here. And 3 months later, she cried tears of joy. See all that green here? You can understand why, Regan found hope again after clearing up her gut and completing her root cause work. She cleared up her skin, her mood increased, and her energy. So I believe that you are perfectly designed, all of us. And if we are, then the question is, why aren't we healing? We get cut, we heal, we get sick, we get better. But what is getting in the way of our recovery if there are chronic symptoms? And what is blocking our natural expression of health? So, just so you know that you're in the right room, I think we need to start asking better questions when it comes to our health symptoms. And we do that by looking at the root causes. So, this is not just some of my clients. I mean, this is, I think, just the evolution of AI. We're going in and asking Dr. Chat GPT. And so a lot of you are doing that. And what I've been seeing is that it adds to the overwhelm. So there's lots of information flying at you. And so my goal here today is just to start to help you focus on and prioritize what's important. And just to remind you that it's not okay to have, like, I get why you're chat GPTing and looking up information with your symptoms, because up to a third of women have said that they feel dismissed or unheard in traditional healthcare. So, like I mentioned, the average consult is around 6 or 7 minutes. And so it's not surprising to me. And we've seen this all over Instagram or TikTok where, the normal ranges come up and then but you're still feeling like crap, right? And so what you have to understand is that lab ranges are based on population averages, which makes them that's great for scientific validity. But it's also, if it changes with adults living, the average 60% of Americans have one chronic condition. So we're trending, the ranges have shifted to a sick population. So that's why I'm also really an advocate for functional ranges, because then it's a new kind of set of range for looking at ways to optimize our health and not ways to just manage being sick. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 key labs that I use with clients to uncover root causes behind bloating, brain fog, anxiety that hasn't been helpful or that hasn't lifted with talk therapy, and food sensitivities. So you can stop guessing and start making very targeted and informed decisions about your health. These are some of the things that my prior clients have said that their providers, whether it be conventional medical doctors or holistic practitioners, have said to them. So if you are eating organic and working out and still feeling like you're running in circles, this training is great for you. And if you know someone who is experiencing more chronic diagnosed health issues like autoimmune disease, depression, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, all the digestive ones, then going under the hood is really going to help you get unstuck. So your blood work looks fine, but something is off. You know your body best. Diet doesn't matter. Lyme disease doesn't exist. This was even 3 years ago by a medical provider. Just stop eating potato chips and coffee to get rid of mold. There's a thing called environmental mold that we need to look at potentially. You'll have your autoimmune disease for life. Client was told by their conventional doctor that ulcerative colitis they will have for the rest of her life, and she no longer has ulcerative colitis. Root cause root cause works. Just try a cleanse or elimination diet. I may be trained in a lot of specialty diets from my mentor teacher, Andrea Nakayama, but I do not use a lot of them because I find that when we clean up the terrain, we don't need to go in these very limiting specialty diets. Cut out FODMAPs or go keto. I do not use FODMAPs for my SIBO people. Take digestive enzymes and hope for the best. Okay, if any of this is resonating, keep watching. All right, so I am a certified functional nutritional counselor, functional nutritional therapy practitioner, wherever you want to, however you want to look at it, and a national board certified health and wellness coach. I'm also, I teach at through UCSD's extended studies, health coach trainees, so check out that particular program. And I was a prior associate clinical counselor and turned functional nutritional counselor because I used to work as a clinical counselor trainee from 2014 to 2020, working with high school students with substance abuse issues and high-risk community college students that had dropped out. And I learned a lot about adverse childhood experiences, getting trained a lot in this particular modality around trauma-informed care. And once I learned about mind-body medicine, I've just been hooked. So for the last 7 years, I've been supporting clients online and at a former brick and mortar shop in Solana Beach with my mother called Lifetime Water and Wellness. And we walked 4 cohorts of clients through what I'm about to talk to you today. And I personally have tested over hundreds of others with genetic testing. And it's amazing to see people getting back to doing the things they love and living out their purpose. That is literally why I'm here. So at the end of today's class, I'm going to answer any questions that you may have for people that pop in. And I'm going to show you a way that you can get on a call with me to help customize your functional lab work. So most doctors won't recognize health problems as a warning signal of toxic overload. Instead, they'll just treat each symptom separately and never really addressing the root cause. So serious health problems like autoimmune disorders, mystery, chronic symptoms can often be resolved with a good functional program. So let's look into which functional labs are worth it and which ones aren't. And let's go. Okay, so I wanted to play you a quick video. This is live blood microscopy. This is one of the first of the labs. This we got to experience at our brick and mortar clinic where we had a registered nurse evaluate blood with live blood microscopy. And so I'm just going to show you something that really blew my mind. This is a neutrophil, which is the Pac-Man of our immune system, and he's looking to kill a fungus or a bacteria. Just a quick 2-second video. So he's on the run, looking to capture this foreign invader that he does not want in the system. He's still trying to get it. Oh, there he goes. Got it. Yes, excellent. So these are the first cells to arrive at the site of infection, and they are the most abundant in our system. So what I'm here to say is that live blood microscopy is not scientifically validated because it's highly operator dependent. But live tissue is much better to look at than dead. And so I'll get into that in a second. So what's interesting is that this is what it looked like, but we've seen plenty of, candida and toxins, and we're looking at here actual nematode or parasite in live blood microscopy. So you can see, levels, heavy metals all under, in real time. Um, but there is, like I said, it's highly operator dependent. So it's kind of up to you if that is something that you want to challenge yourself with. These are just some of the tests that I personally have run over the years. Multiple microbiomes, a Dutch fibroscan for liver, live blood analysis multiple times, breath tests, HRV tests, toxin tests, food sensitivity tests, and then all the serum labs from our, that you can get at any lab or with your provider approval. So I've also seen chiropractors, muscle retrainers, acupuncturists, frequency medicine, holistic estheticians, functional providers, done NAAT, Rolfing, cranial sacral therapy, spectrum light therapy, therapeutic massage, countless online training. So I feel very comfortable going through certain tests with my clients because I know what has been valuable in general from them and from my own experience. So this presentation was inspired by Dr. Brian Walsh, a naturopathic doctor who presented at Cellcore in 2024. And he's like, hey guys, maybe we want to look at some testing definitions to see which ones are clinically valid, the validity, the accuracy of some of these functional tests, the reliability and the precision. Are they scientifically validated by CLIA or CAP? Do they present any value for the client or for the provider? And clinical utility, basically, like, is it good for us too? So, let's get into some of these. All right, the first one, salivary cortisol testing. It got an F from Dr. Brian Walsh. I personally don't do it. And the reason for this is the cortisol levels really vary daily. And even if you were to test all day, the sensitivities, there's so much that uh, the inputs determine the output, right? So how many stressors you have for that day, nightmares, mood, emotions. So some salivary tests are, $250. So are you really interested in knowing your stress levels throughout the day with the saliva? Like there's another test that I personally would use and have used. I've tested myself personally 50 plus times. Um, I think there's a better way. Oh, I didn't even talk about my breath test. Oh, I need to add that. All right. So, hair tissue mineral analysis. Some of my colleagues in my training or my business coaching program, they do use hair tissue mineral analysis. They even come from the medical world as a nurse practitioner or just as a registered nurse. Here's the thing, it sounds appealing. They're low cost. They're usually like 179. I actually got mine done for free from a friend. It's non-invasive and it claims to show mineral status and even toxin exposure, which would be very helpful in my world. But there are very well-established reasons why it's generally considered unreliable. Um, and that basically is that the lab that it's coming from may or may not be CLIA compliant, and the reliability and the precision is it's not there. So the you can test, there's some validity to it, but the reliability of that test is not there. And so um, yeah, so poor standardization across labs, and different labs often produce very different results from the same hair sample. just to show you mine. When I got it, I felt like it was just a report that was generated for like anybody. Um, I didn't feel I didn't personally feel the benefits of this, and I will personally never use it in my practice. Okay, micronutrient testing, D plus, and the reason is that it's not CLIA, it's not scientifically accepted. And the big thing, if you're going to go out and test for your B12, um, the it's just numerous studies have now established that serum B12 has very limited diagnostic value as a standalone marker. So basically, testing your B vitamins, it's not CLIA compliant, and high on paper doesn't always mean too much. It could be an absorption issue. It could be a format issue. It could be, gut health or any of the other reasons metabolically why your methylation, why you're not getting your B12. Food sensitivities. Listen, people do this all the time. I got mine tested for biome. I've gotten mine tested genetically. I've gotten mine tested with serum. Um, each time when I do food sensitivities, IgE is going to be the reactions that are immediate. You know what those are. So if you're having an immediate allergic reaction, a food sensitivity test will be great to kind of know what the heck it is. But if you are testing IgG, which is a sensitivity, it's going to take longer for you to feel the symptom. Basically, it's everything I ate. So it's just a leaky gut. And it was not helpful for me to know to not eat parsnips or, you know, um, capers. I'm like, the list, I giggled. I was like, well, doesn't that just show that I have a leaky gut? Because everything that I'm sensitive to is stuff that I eat every day and it's very healthy. So, personally, I got much more benefit from knowing my food sensitivities genetically, which would be for the coffee, the CYP1A2, the gluten, and also for the dairy. And I can test for those. Okay, urinary organic acids. I've had clients do this. I find it really interesting. Dr. Brian Walsh gave it a D. I personally like these for people that have brain diagnoses, so like mood issues. I like to look at the neurotransmitters, particularly if I know that they're have mold and or candida, fungal type issues and mood issues. So this was the client's first test. The neurotransmitters were kind of all over the place. This is after the program. This was throughout her nutritional program. Is getting these markers in range, it's very encouraging, particularly people with mood issues. Urinary mold testing. Okay, so you got two camps, two schools of thought. You have the shoemaker camp, which is you must only do blood and you must see if your immune system is reacting to any of these 12 or 14 um, mycotoxins, in your environment or in colonizing your body. Or there's the Dr. Neil Nathan camp, which is the urine testing. Personally, I was like, ugh, for a while. Didn't know. Now, the one that I use is so easy because it tests for 89 different markers, heavy metals, mycotoxins, environmental toxins, and it's CLIA and CAP certified, which is even CAP is even it's voluntary, it's even better than CLIA. And it's more rigorous. And this is why I changed it from a C plus to a B plus. Is that I recently tested a family, and there was a dad and a daughter living in the same home, and with the same total tox burden test by Vibrant Wellness. Look at these results. The ochratoxin A and the verniculin J were almost the exact same. So that's really encouraging for me if they have environmental toxic or environmental mold or mycotoxins in the home, that they have similar levels. What about microbiome stool testing? So a simple way to remember this, I got AI to help me with this because I was like, I've had a 16S. I've done the Flora microbiome sequencing test, and it was so confusing and so hard to understand and so hard to interpret that it's kind of like, isn't, what's the point? So clinical utility and value. So that's why I prefer a gut zoomer or a GI map. It's like GI map is super focused. Gut zoomer is a little bit wider. The Flora or 16S, for instance, sequencing microbiome is even wider. And then a shotgun sequencing is the best. But this is pe people for like that are in research. So personally, from a clinical like value, I give the GI map and the gut zoomer a B plus. And they're not perfect, but gosh, they're good. So yeah, these were some of mine that, I've taken. And so personally, I it's hard. 16S, unless you can help interpret it for my clients or myself better, I'm uninterested. Okay, genetic testing gets an A plus. Yay. Validity, accuracy, reliability, CLIA compliant, value, and clinical utility. I think it's great. It's was so helpful for myself and my clients to understand their mystery autoimmune gut toxic load, genetic food sensitivities. I saw my report and I cried. Tears of relief because I was like, oh, honey, you're not working with a full deck. You got a lot of variants. What do all these mean? And so it's been really helpful for me to steer, to kind of sift through what I need to prioritize when it comes to my health. And then basic blood serum chemistry tests. These are A++, just because of the clinical validity, the reliability, the precision, the scientifically accepted CLIA labs, the value and the clinical utility. I mean, come on. So, like I said, pull up your serum blood labs from your wellness check. Let's go through some of them. So these are the key labs that I use in my functional health coaching practice. It's the total toxin burden by Vibrant Labs, the microbiome stool testing by GI Map and Gut Zoomer. I don't use the Flora. The basic serum labs, read through functional ranges, organic acid urine test for anybody that is experiencing more of the gut-brain axis issues, and genetic testing, which is salivary, which is cheek swab. And then the one that I'm curious about, just because of this case that came through, not my client, but a client was put on their customized supplement for their genetics. And this was a 3-month pre and post test. So this is the Nutra Eval by Genomics. Nutra Eval by, I don't know what lab it is. I have to, before I say which lab it is, I have to check. But I was really interested in seeing the oxidative stress, the mitochondrial dysfunction, the omega-3 or the omega balance, the toxic load, and the methylation. This is something that's really interesting. So I might include this for someone. And then these are the labs that I wouldn't bother with. The salivary cortisol testing, the HTMA, the micronutrient testing, your Bs, food sensitivities, Viome. They don't test for any specific um, bacteria or like the specificity is not there. And then DIY mold testing plates for the home, those are useless. So I have a lab test list that I send out to those that registered for the training. So you guys will get that. And so we got through those. So I'm going to run through because we're at time, the blind spots and then how to order your own labs without insurance or provider approval. So this was a client who had very elevated levels of ochratoxin A and lead levels, and how they, after my program, reduced the ochratoxin A in range and their heavy metal lead. And so I'm going to look at a few of case studies for basic blood labs, and then I'll look at some case studies for some specific functional labs. So real quick, you may want to look at your albumin range. So functional ranges are ideal are between 4 and 5, but what this is kind of a longevity um, marker. So those with greater albumin had less overall mortality and greater chance of survival. Um, and all-cause mortality was lowest when albumin was above 4.7. So just check yours out. Um, see where yours are at. What about when you look at your complete blood count with differential, you're going to see some of your white blood count. So you'll see those as eosinophils and your basophils and the neutrophils, just like the one I showed you with the live blood microscopy. These are part of our immune system. And the basophils are very interesting. So if it's greater or less than, you want to have it less than 1%. Anything greater could mean that you have, you know, you could have parasites, which is kind of wild. So if you are sketchy with photos, I would look away here and I can tell you when you can look back. But these were some of our clients with parasites and elevated basophils with their white blood count. So a huge biofilm, liver flukes, nematodes. Um, this is important marker to look at because parasites typically don't show up, not even in microbiome stool testing. So seeing, a GI map and your complete blood count with differential is going to help. Um, you can turn back now. You can come back. What about a lipid panel? So if your range is above 80, everybody's like, oh, wow, you have such amazing good cholesterol. Well, this good cholesterol is actually could mean that that there could be thyroid dysregulation, possible autoimmune activity, estrogen dominance, inflammation, and or steroid hormone therapies, drug-related issues. So this is one of my clients that has a 98. So that tracks with hereditary of the hypothyroid or the autoimmune thyroid, Hashimoto's in her family. And so this is where we can support our clients for their immunity, right? Sorry, I'm needing to take this off and plug in. Okay, So we can look at a comprehensive thyroid test and look at energy, how you doing with energy. We can look at ferritin for energy. We can look at vitamin D for inflammation. Usually, if vitamin D is low, then inflammation is high. If the vitamin D is high, inflammation is low. We can look at homocysteine to see how you are methylating. And we can look at neural check, which is electrocardiogram, which is a heart rate variability test for brain stress and or nervous system stress. And those are some blind spots. And now I want to show you how, like why you would need to test. So if you have IBS, SIBO, um, skin rashes, fatigue, indigestion, food sensitivities, meaning like you're eating all the healthy things, but you feel like no matter what you do, there's always something going on with sensitivity. Gas and bloating, mood imbalances, gut brain access. It would be a good idea to do a microbiome stool test. I find it so helpful to get all the particular bacteria and or the probiotic, prebiotic, all the needs that your gut needs, your ecosystem needs support with. And so what's so nice is that I use Vibrant Wellness and I also Full Script now allows not just for supplements but also for lab work and it's so easy. You can order we can talk and you can order it and you can have a phlebotomist come to your house. You can go to a Quest or LabCorp and you can get your results back in 3 weeks. It comes directly to my Practice Better account and it's just so easy these days. You don't need to wrestle. If you're over having that going through insurance and getting provider approval, um, or if you're like, wait, I just want to have my work looked at via functional ranges, um, let's get on a call. This is what it looks like. It's lifetimehealthcoaching.com/contact or book a call. And so I will send you a free clinical assessment and improvement report with this call. We'll look at the specialty labs and we'll determine if my signature program is a good fit. So that is all today. Um, Thank you so much for watching. Run Your Own Labs. I'm Taylor Colby, the owner and founder of Lifetime Health Coaching. And please, I'd love to meet and see you on the other side. Cheers.